Hey guys, this is DJ, a creative technologist at FLORA. FLORA's Next Top Model is a new series where I give you the rundown on the latest AI models available in FLORA and test various strengths and shortcomings. There are a lot of models out there, with new ones coming out every week, and it can be overwhelming to stay up to date on which model is good for what kind of task. In FNTM, I'll be choosing a category and choosing the best, most commonly used models for that category. I'll run experiments with the same prompt with those models and share my findings and verdict to determine what FLORA's Next Top Model is, so that you can have confidence on which model to choose on any occasion. Of course, whether an output is better or not is qualitative, since aesthetic judgment is subjective. I'll do my best to be thorough and unbiased, showing you all the outputs so that you can see yourself, and share with you why I'm making the decisions so you can see through my thought process and decide what's best for you. But if you just want a TLDR version to see the winner, head to our Instagram or Twitter where you can find a straightforward comparison and final verdict. For this episode, I want to challenge video models with one of the most toughest scenes to generate: action genre. I have 3 categories: a car drifting through a city, a helicopter raging through a storm, and a man on a bike racing down the mountains. I'll go through each of these adrenaline-surging scenes and review the pros and cons of each model. The models I'll be comparing are Hilo O2 Pro, Kling 2.1 Master, Luma Ray 2, and Google Veo 3. For each model, I generated as much clips as I could get to get the best. These are the trials and errors I've been through. Let's take a look at this first one. From left to right, I aligned them in the order of Kling, Hilo, Veo 3, and Ray 2. I have 3 generations per model. Let's take a look at all 12 videos to get the overall vibe. All these videos are generated based on the starting image of a car drifting in the city at night. I put a prompt that describes an action-heavy scene. Now I'll go over each output one at a time. Looking at the generations, I could say that Kling is good at dynamic physics happening in the scene. It shows the most speedy and intense movements, just as I intended in the prompt. What I really like is the turbulent camera movement following the car in extreme velocity, also giving game-like graphics that reminds me of Need for Speed or Asphalt. Next is Hilo, which shows nice VFX, as you can see here in the sparks and smoke. But the smoke stays a bit too long, which makes it less compelling. Also, the movement of the car drifting and accelerating is not realistic enough and pretty slow for an action scene. This is Veo 3, which I would say is pretty decent in terms of physics and VFX, but still the overall movement is slow. What I like is the spark and smoke only stays when it needs to, instead of being there the whole time, which makes more sense than Hilo's generations. Also, if you see the wheels, it turns accordingly towards the direction of the car. The last one is Ray 2, which is unfortunately the worst here. The outputs are very uncanny, and the car does not stay on the road. It interferes to the sidewalks. Let me know in the comments if there's a better way to direct car scenes with Ray 2. In this first category, I choose Kling 2.1 Master for the best overall. Let's move on to the second batch, which features a helicopter in the storm. I aligned the outputs in the same order. The first one is Kling, which shows the most dynamic camera tracking, just like it proved in the car scene. All 3 outputs track the helicopter through the turbulent storm that suits a tense action movie atmosphere. It's also very good at mimicking the way the helicopter shifts directions in the air. Next is Hilo, which is better at portraying the fast rotating propellers. This makes the scene more realistic. Instead, Hilo's generations are steadily following the helicopter, which makes it a bit more dull than Kling's generations. Veo 3 makes everything in slow motion, even though it has the same prompt, but I like the realism and the lightning and clouds in the background. Ray 2 again has the most inconsistent outputs and overall not pretty realistic. In this second category, I choose high-low for the best due to the stability of promising outcomes. The last category is a man biking down the mountain. Kling here generates extreme long shots compared to the other video models, making the bike blend in the background. It's not quite good for emphasizing both the bike movement details and the background at the same time. High-low tends to blur the background too much. It makes it look uncanny. Although I like the movement of the bike, the road looks too smooth. VO3 has a good balance between the fast panning background and meticulous details on the movements of the bike. I'm impressed by how it makes the knees of the man move irregularly, just like in real life where you pedal through a rocky mountain. It also shows you how bumpy the road is by making the bike jump up and down, whereas the other models just show smooth driving. This is amazing that this is the result even though I never described the details of the road in text prompt. All Ray 2 outputs show a completely different scene as the bike comes closer to the foreground, which is quite interesting. Though the outputs are inconsistent, Ray 2 might be good for creating diverse results to choose. Here, I choose VO3 for the best due to the realism. So now we've looked at all the videos, I would say that there are definitely strong pros and cons for each video model. This is why I chose different winners for all three categories. However, in my opinion, the overall winner for this big theme, which is action genre, would be Kling 2.1 Master. The reason for my decision is, Kling is great at generating dynamic camera movements that elevate the cinematography of the scene, which adds to building the tense atmosphere. Also, it's good at imagining the rest of the background other than what's provided in the starting image, creating a whole sequence that makes sense, even though the camera travels pretty far from the first place. This is impressive considering the image and text prompt given. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and stay tuned for the upcoming ones. Thank you for watching FLORA's Next Top Model.